Today, I'm going to be USB-C'ing my DSi XL. That's it. I got this mod from Guiltessa, as I've gotten all the other ones in the series. If you are unaware, this is a series on my channel where I'm USB-C'ing pretty much every console that I have, so I can USB-C all the things. For home consoles, I want to USB-C and HDMI everything so I can just slot it into one of my cubes in my living room. And when I'm not using the console, I can just put it in storage. I don't have to hold on to all the proprietary cables for AV or for power, USB-C power delivery, and HDMI, or just in this case, USB-C. So, traveling with my DSi as I regularly do, I can charge this with just one cable. Same cable I use to charge my phone. This one's a little more simple, but people don't really understand the home console side of it. That's all right. It's kind of a niche thing. But there is a little QR code on the back here. You can scan that and it'll take you to this website, his website, the listing for the actual thing that you already own. And then you can scroll down and you can find in the documentation section the installation guide. It's a PDF. You'll download it and then you can open it up here. I scrolled down to the part where I need the information, but it does give you steps on how to disassemble it, as we're going to go over right now, as well as, doing the soldering and all that stuff. You can just follow along with me. Here's our USB-C port. This is not the data one because honestly, I didn't even know that this supported data. It's got 2 pins. How does it support data? Anyways, let's take my DS Lite stylus out of here because I don't have a DSi XL stylus. And let's start tearing this thing down. We've got a couple of Phillips screws holding in the battery. There we go. It's a little tough to get out. We can also take our battery out here. That's surprisingly not blowing up. I think this might actually be all Phillips, unless there are tri-wings underneath these rubber feet, because yes, there are screws under the rubber feet. Nintendo making a console that didn't use tri-wing screws in the modern era? What? I've taken apart a few DSi XLs. Apparently not this one, because dang, these rubber feet are in there. Okay, I'm like almost certain that there's screws in here. So I guess, I just ripped a chunk off. Nice. I don't think I've ever been in this console if it's being this temperamental about the sticky part. I wouldn't recommend something pointy if you care about keeping your rubber feet clean, but I ripped it off with my fingernail, so it's not like it's any better. But I'm just going to unscrew this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw, this little one that's in here, this screw, and this screw. And I think that will be it to remove the back case. And also don't forget to take out any micro SD cards that may be in the slot. And you want to very carefully remove the back because there is a ribbon cable that is connected to the motherboard and the back plate. So I'm kind of lifting it by this area over here, which gives me a little bit of leverage on the inside. And then I'm just carefully going around all of it. Oh, that's a random screw that I don't know where it came from. What? Okay, literally a random screw that just fell out. Okay. Oh, man. There we go. It's just not fully popping off. There we go. Okay, now we can unfold it like this. Where did that little screw come from? I don't know, but I'm gonna unplug that and unplug that, and there we go. Pretty sure it came from right there, and that makes me think that that screw post is bad. So I'm gonna put it about in the spot on the board where it lies, and we are going to remove this screw, this screw, this screw, this screw. That can't be all the screws. Lift this thing up. It might be all the screws. Remove this cable. I'm going to lift this latch up. I'm going to remove this little piece of tape and this little piece of tape, which coincidentally lifted up that latch. I'm going to carefully lift up this latch, maybe. There we go. Then I'm going to lift up this latch and this latch. And then I'm going to try to remove this connector very carefully. You're not supposed to pull on the wires. It's bad, but I don't know how else to like remove it. And then we should be able to carefully, probably not with these pokey metal tweezers, but I'm going to anyways because I'm a rebel, remove all of these ribbon cables from the latches that we just unlatched, and then still carefully lift this up and flip it over because we've got one more screen ribbon cable right there, and voila, we are free at last. And if you didn't catch that part, there is a screw right here, but it was already removed, so I didn't unscrew it. But this is all we need from the console itself. And now we can zoom in on the charge port. For this, it should be fairly simple. Just removing it with my soldering iron. I'm gonna flip this over. Yeah, we've got some ground pins on this side. So we'll start here. And I'm just gonna start with some flux, trying to reflow that solder. And then I'm going to remove that solder as best I can from both sides. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just try to remove the solder on these pins. And then is it not through hole? Surprisingly, the positive and negative lines, the two that are in the middle here, are not through hole. So I'm going to awkwardly try and remove the solder. It's going to be really, really tough, actually. I was just trying to get a good grip on it and it popped off. So maybe I did remove enough solder. Interesting. I was trying to like figure out a strategy for people to do that because you shouldn't do what I just did there and just rip it off. Granted, I did remove a lot of the existing solder, but I definitely didn't remove enough of the solder from these pads, the positive and negative pads. These pads on the far sides, maybe. But yeah, I guess that works. Okay. I don't know really what to tell you. If you're trying to follow along and are struggling with removing the port, I've never been good at desoldering and removing other ports. So, yeah, we're just going to move on. And we need to put some solder on these two far pads, not the one in the middle. The one in the middle, I believe, is exclusively for the 2DS, but this is the same for DS and 2DS. So we're just going to put a little bit there and a little bit there. And that's basically just going to act as our way of connecting, ow, that's still hot, these together because it is like a through hole, I guess. So I'm guessing he wants us to have it like lined up like this under the board, but I think that's just going to be impossible for me to solder at this point. So I'm actually going to do it a different way. I'm going to actually remove that solder. I don't like this idea. Maybe I should listen to the guy who made the mod, but I'm actually going to remove that solder, make it nice and flat again. And then I'm going to set this down, put some flux down across all of those pads. I'm going to line up the pads on the USB-C board with the pads on the DSi board. And then I am quite literally just going to hold this down, try and get that to stick, but there really wasn't much solder on those pads, so I'm going to add a bit more. And that's that pad soldered, and that's that pad soldered, and then I'm pretty much just going to stick the other two down like that, because that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. I accidentally just removed F1 and accidentally just resoldered it back. Nice. Okay, cool. Somehow that worked. And our 4 pads are now soldered. And since this is all flat board up against board there, I'm going to flip it back around, stick some flux down in there. And I'm going to take my lower melting solder, my lead solder, and I'm going to just get in there with a bunch of solder. And I'm choosing the lower melt solder because it should make it easier for the solder to flow all the way down to those pads so we can actually get a solid connection between the DSi board and the USB-C board. So when we plug this in over and over and over again to charge, it won't go anywhere and won't break the other 4 more crucial connections, which honestly, we only really care about the middle two connections on this USB-C board because that's the positive and negative lines. But we're done. I'm going to clean up all the flux here. All right, that looks clean enough to me. Let's put it back together. Gonna start with the big ribbon cable here. This is probably gonna be the toughest one to reconnect because we don't get much slack. You need to get it as far in there as you can get it before you latch it down, and it's not wanting to latch down very easily. So hopefully that's good. Then you're also going to want to make sure that your wires here, your antenna wires, are actually in those grooves so it doesn't get in the way of any button presses and doesn't get pinched on the board somewhere or goes through like a screw post or something. Then we'll want to get all of our ribbon cables out from underneath the board. And then that should fall into place on our shell here. We can lift this latch back up because it got closed and plug this ribbon cable in. This one will also be kind of difficult because, again, not much slack. I don't know if that's in properly or not. I guess we'll see. These ones are always tricky to plug back in as well. Really, they're all kind of tricky to plug back in. I think these tweezers are not going to be good enough. And then I always hate plugging those back in, but that one went in perfectly. And then we can plug this back in. We can also put the wire back in its little holder here so we can not accidentally put that screw through it. And I think that's it until we plug these two ribbon cables back in. So let's try this screw that was loose inside of the shell. Yep, that screw post is not good anymore. So we'll just put that in, this in, and this in. Let's make sure we're not pinching that wire because I think that's power, so that would be bad. Now we can route that wire back in there. And from here, should be able to, well, I guess we can put these covers back on if we want, but I don't think it really does anything. And then we'll plug this one in there and nope, this one in here. That's crooked. There we go. Make sure both of those are plugged in. And then, ooh, do we need to? Yeah, okay. Duh. I'm going to unplug these again. Oh, before we put the back half on, we need to make this hole a little bigger for the charge port. We need to make it look like this. So what I'm going to do is the lazy way and basically just go snip, 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 just snip around, avoiding the ribbon cable, of course. And then I'm just going to snip it a little bit on both sides and maybe sand it down a little bit. And then let's see if that even fits. Like a glove. Like a glove. Is it ugly? Yeah. Do I care? No. If you care, you can spend more time on it. Now we can plug these last two L and R ribbon cables in. They both do a little bit more than just L and R, but you know, it's easier to just call them L and R. So I don't know what else they do other than the SD card and the volume rocker. That almost doesn't feel like it was in, but we can just pop that on like that. Then I will screw these back in. All these silver screws are going to be under the feet, and all the black ones are going to be exposed because that way the black blends in with the black and the silver doesn't stick out from underneath the rubber feet. Then we can put our battery in the correct way. It should only go in one way, but you really don't want to short it now. May still have a little bit of flux on my fingers, which may have caused those little spots there. But can it still be turned on? No. Was this charged in the last 2 years? Probably not. So I'm going to plug in my C2C cable from my GAN USB power delivery brick, and same one I use for all these videos. Bam, charging. I'll give it a second while I clean up to charge, and it's still charging, so that's a good sign. Let's try power. Boom. Sounds all the way up too. Camera works. Both L and R buttons work, so I definitely got those in. Cool. When I turned it off, it stopped charging. That was interesting. I don't know if that's a thing with DSIs or not, but hey, I got a working charging a USB-C. It's a little sticky outie of the shell, but just barely. It's fine. It's worth the cost to have USB-C to charge my DSi XL. One step closer to being able to throw away all of my 3DS chargers. Now I just need a stylus that actually fits with the DSi XL and not that stupid pen one, even though they're kind of cool. I want something that fits in there.